This is Doug Green, and I'm the publisher of TR Publications, and I'm very pleased to have with us today Simon Peters, who's the Managing Director for UK and EMEA at CallCabinet. Simon, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for inviting me, Doug.
And CallCabinet, you guys are the cloud call recording and analytics solutions experts. Do I have that right?
Yeah, that's what we say. We certainly are. We're cloud-based from birth call recording solution with AI analytics and voice and sentiment analysis all built in.
So, it's something we've touched upon in previous podcasts, but I think we're going to dive into this. A lot of organizations are literally sitting on a gold mine of information, of proprietary information that would be amazingly helpful to their own organization and helping direct things going forward and also responding to current events. But it's hard to get at that data. Am I right about that? That's sort of a big thing that is true for a lot of companies.
Yeah, well, the fact of the matter is, with any kind of call recording is a file storage, so it's always sat in a repository, and you have to go and access that call recording, and you have to get data out of that call recording. And one of the things that we do in various different ways is we can jailbreak that legacy data. So whether that's from our solution, or more importantly, in the instances that we're probably going to talk about today, it's where people take their legacy call recordings, potentially from either other solutions, whether they're on-premise, in the cloud, or a hybrid version of that. We can migrate those into our CallCabinet solution, migrate them into the cloud, and then create a seamless digital transformation for those call recordings.
Well, let's start with some basics because I think, first of all, contrary to what maybe a lot of people listening or watching think, not everything is in the cloud. We still have a lot of people doing calls, doing tasks on-prem, and have an on-prem proprietary system. Of course, at the same time, so we have a lot of legacy stuff going on. Of course, maybe even the same company has cloud operations. So tell me a little bit about that dichotomy.
So CallCabinets has a data migration service that enables businesses to globally migrate calls from wherever they might be, whether they are on-prem or in the cloud or in a hybrid solution. And we can migrate those recorded conversations into the CallCabinet cloud, allowing people to achieve a digital transformation seamlessly and at their own pace. They can then also access this consolidated data immediately and gain a full overview of all of the insights held across all of that information.
So we're going to want to access this data. How does compliantly migrating this data work?
Well, it's one thing about working within compliance is it's crucial to ensure that the migration is done and aligns with all of the data sovereign requirements internationally or specifically within the region that you reside. Being in the cloud, CallCabinet can guarantee that your data will migrate in a strict adherence with those global regulations that govern those companies. And one thing I should also point out is the fact that when we do store the calls in the cloud, we do that in a data sovereign requirement as well. So one of the big questions that we usually get asked, especially from financial service institutions, is the fact that they get concerned that they can see a box, they can see the on-premise solution, and they can see where it's sat. And if I'm going to move my calls into the cloud, where are they going to sit? And how am I going to be secure that they are stored in a data sovereign region? And one thing that we ensure is, because of the cloud infrastructure that we have, we can store those calls data sovereignly in a cloud environment, but for access anywhere in the world. So no matter where you are, you can still access your call recordings anytime, any place, anywhere, but under the strict guidance and requirements of a compliance regulatory system.
So, in many cases, a lot of our readers are going to have to talk to people in their company to justify a migration. So tell me a little bit about the additional value you get from doing this cloud migration.
Well, the first thing we need to speak about is what the cloud has to offer. For obvious reasons, the cloud gives you a future-proof solution to any of your problems. The very nature of the cloud is that it's constantly evolving, which means you always have the very latest in security and accessibility at the touch of your fingers. It means your data will be safer and more secure in the cloud. It means you can access it, as I mentioned, for any reason at any point. Plus, obviously, there's no storage or volume limitations. You can access those wherever you might be, and there you have no you have no storage volume limitations.
And that's a huge cloud advantage right there, right? Those limitations are gone.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no limitations, and it also means that you have, if you do want to work with other cloud-based solutions, you can have direct integrations with those. You can integrate and you can align different cloud-based softwares, enabling you to utilize your data far more effectively than just storing it on premise. Your cloud data can also improve customer service and experience by maintaining quality assurance, whatever it might be. The virtue of the fact that you've moved it into the cloud gives you so many more possibilities of what you're able to do with that data.
All right, Simon. So now what's happened is you've talked me into it. I've I've moved from my old legacy proprietary on-prem systems. I've moved to the cloud. I've become a CallCabinet customer. How do I go about retrieving my data?
Excellent question, Doug. So we have created a really simple six-step process to move your legacy or proprietary data into the cloud, unlocking it and giving you complete ownership of your data. So step one is that CallCabinet will copy all of your archive data into a system. So we copy all of your media up front. It means that we're able to immediately detect any bad files, any blank tapes if they were on tapes, any blank files. Then we can extract the implicit metadata from that raw data, reconstruct it into individual calls, one recording at a time. Thirdly, we can then extract the audio bytes from the raw tapes, from the images, or from the audio files. We then transcode that audio to a standard format that's most common with any playback software, so you don't have to worry about how you're going to play that call back, whichever is the inherent playback system within your PC, within your laptop, within your media device, whether that's Windows, Mac, iOS, or Android. Step 5, we can extract that extended metadata from the related database, if there is one, making sure that when you have a call recording from a legacy system in our solution, you can search for it in exactly the same way as if you had recorded that call yesterday with a CallCabinet solution. And then finally, once that migrated data is into CallCabinet, into the CallCabinet cloud, your data is immediately accessible and available for any of the business intelligent processing that we have within our system.
So Simon, even having moved to the cloud and now you're getting information, that doesn't necessarily mean that you actually know what to do with the information or even what to make of the information you're getting.
No, absolutely. I mean, the fact is, we've just uploaded all of those legacy call recordings into the CallCabinet cloud, and that's fantastic. We can now access them all from anywhere, any time, any place. What CallCabinet has is an enterprise class AI analytics system, which is conversation analytics and intelligent solutions that can then be applied to all of these newly consolidated conversational data. It can be easily displayed, easy to read business intelligent dashboards. So we understand that each organization is unique and the way in which they interpret data is unique, but we provide easy to use analytics dashboards that reflect the voice data intelligence using either our standard analytics, or we can deep dive even further with our advanced analytics solutions, building powerful quality assurance tools on top of all of those data analysis offerings that your business might need in order to be able to extract that data from those legacy call recordings. And for that matter, for any future call recordings, because once you've implemented the system, it means it can flag calls for any specific reason based on anything or any data that any specific reason that a company might want.
So, given the amazing amount of information that might come out, it sounds like this might be a job for artificial intelligence.
Absolutely, and we've built that in. So we've now put in generative AI engines that can be used to be able to engage deeper with the specific conversational recordings and batches of recordings. Given the vast possible uses and capabilities, a company can save vast amounts of time, gain non-biased results with the ability to choose from present questions or by typing their own custom queries into it. They can also summarize a conversation and get task actions out of it. What it basically means is that they have access to even more information, deep dive, completely jailbreak all of those call recording pieces of information. So taking them from a standard audio file into vast amounts of data, accessible via whoever needs them. And more importantly, when we talk about general quality assurance, usually a quality assurance or a compliance officer will actually analyze a percentage of calls, maybe 10%, if that. This enables a compliance officer, a quality assurance manager, to analyze 100% of their calls and then drill down into ones where they actually need to do something about it, where they actually need to go into those calls, play them back, check them, go and speak to the supervisor or the agent and find out why it went this way. But it means it's all at the touch of their fingers, and can be exported to any different data lake as well, or any other CRM, in order to be able to give a much more data-rich source.
So, Simon, we began our podcast today with the 2004 on-prem proprietary legacy system for the contact center. We're ending our podcast with the 2024 up-to-date cloud-based system. Where does that leave us? What's the end result of that migration?
Well, it basically means now all your data is safely secured in the cloud under an encryption. So one thing I didn't mention was it's a 256-bit rotating encryption key, where it can be mined for valuable business intelligence, for practical reasons that would otherwise have been left untapped in a hard drive somewhere. Migrating to the cloud now not only reveal hidden intelligence, but will also immediately deliver actionable insights that can quickly improve strategic business outcomes, netting increased performance and hopefully increased revenues.
So, that's important. I just learned there that it's not just that I'm get more intelligence and more usable information from the information I'm already generating, but all that data is more secure than it used to be.
100%. It's secure in the cloud with multi-factor authentication for access, with in an encryption key, and you can even have multiple storage as well to be able to make sure that none of your cloud-based call recording can be accessed, and is certainly in a secure environment.
Simon, I really want to thank you for joining me today. This has been very interesting and very eye-opening. Where can we learn more about this process and CallCabinet?
Well, the best place obviously is to head to callcabinet.com, where you can see all of the latest information about everything that CallCabinet has to offer, our latest platform integrations, as well as any of our other CRM or other platform integrations that we currently have available.
Simon, again, thank you for joining me today. I'm looking forward to our next podcast in the new year, but for now, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for your time, Doug. Really nice. Thank you.